Okay, we have left with the number of cells of number of organism based on the number of cell. One is unicellular organism, another one is multicellular organism. Unicellular organism, what are they? Those organisms are made up of single cells. They are called as unicellular organisms. What are the examples? That examples are like amoeba, bacteria, paramecium, etc. And what are the examples of multicellular organism? Human being, all the animals, mammals, etc. like lion, tiger, zebra, etc. So what we have left, that the first characteristics, that is the growth. So growth can occur in unicellular organisms as well as multicellular organisms. So how the growth occurs? Growth occurs by cell division. Growth occurs by cell division. Okay. Cell division occurs in plants as well as animals. First of all, we will discuss about in plants. Plant and animals. After the seed germination from one leaf to a huge tree, cell division occurs. From seed germination to become a huge tree, cell division occurs. How? In roots of the plants, cell division occurs, that is called as root apical meristem, and in the stem are also called as in the shoot part. So shoot apical meristem occurs, meristemary tissue occurs. That means cell division occurs in roots as well as shoots. So that is why there are so many branches, so many flowers and fruits also. So growth occurs in plants. How you will assume that increase in height of the plant and spreading of the branches. So growth occurs in plants in this way. After that we will see how growth occurs in animal cases. From the fetus to become a adult organism. Okay. In fetus, cell division occurs. Cell division occurs in embryonic stage. First of all, embryo occurs by the process of reproduction. After that, fetus comes, and by gradually cell division occurs. Rapidly cell division occurs. After that, when delivery of a baby occurs, after that some 1 year to 4 years, after that 8 years, 16 years, 32 years, organisms will become adult. So in this phase, cell division occurs. How? There are so many tissues, like if you will take human being, the cell division occurs in our body cell. Now also cell division occurs by the process of mitosis. And if we will assume that how growth appears in animal cases, or we will say human being cases, that increase our fingers, increase of our height. So these are the symptoms of the growth of animal cases. But can non-living organisms can they grow? It's a question mark. No, or non-living organism they cannot, non-living things they cannot grow. But in some cases like mountains, boulders and sand mold, the increase in mass occurs by accumulation of matters. After so many years, some layer that becomes occurs, but that is not the defining property of the organism. So growth cannot be defining property of living organisms. After that, we will study about the second characteristic. Second characteristic is reproduction. So what is reproduction? Reproduction is the process by which production of new individual occurs from their parents, and we know that reproduction is of two types. One is asexual reproduction, another one is sexual reproduction. So what is the meaning of asexual reproduction? A stands for absent. So absence of what? Absence of both the sexes. Absence of both the sexes, that means involvement of only one parent. Okay, so this process is called as asexual reproduction. And what is sexual reproduction? Both the sexes will be involved. That means both male parent as well as female parent. Both male parent as well as female parent. So what are the types of this asexual reproduction? There are so many types of asexual reproduction. I will write that first one is budding, second one is fragmentation, third one is regeneration, and fourth one is spore formation, fifth one is fission. It is of two types. One is binary fission, another one is multiple fission. And number 6 is vegetative propagation. These are the process. And what are the examples of this? Budding occurs in hydra and fission occurs in some organisms, like also hydra occurs, and spore formation occurs in fungus. Vegetative propagation, that means production of new plants from vegetative parts of the body like stem, root or any parts of the body. And we know that what is sexual reproduction. Can reproduction will be the defining property of the living organism? No. Why? Because in some organisms they cannot reproduce at all. Like example, mules, sterile honeybee, and infertile human couples. They cannot reproduce at all. That's why reproduction cannot be the defining characteristics or property of living organism. After that, we will study about our third characteristic of living organism, and that name is what? Metabolism. So what is metabolism? What is the meaning of metabolism? Metabolism is the sum total biochemical processes that occurring inside our body, that is called as metabolism. And metabolism is of two types. One is catabolism, second one is anabolism. What is the meaning of catabolism? Catabolism is the breakdown process. That means breakdown chemical processes, and anabolism is the make of, or we can say synthesis process. Synthesis chemical processes. Okay. There are thousands of chemical reactions occurs inside our body. Can metabolism will be the defining property of living beings? Yes. How? If an isolated chemical reaction that will be occur outside our body, that means in laboratory. In laboratory there will be occur some chemical processes that we will do, okay, so that we can say that is living as well as non-living organisms. So that's why metabolism can be the defining property of the body, of the living organism. And cellular organization of the body, that is called as metabolism, which is the defining property of all the organisms. After that we will see the last one characteristic, that is response to stimuli. Response to stimuli. What is this? Otherwise we can say that is the consciousness. So what is consciousness? That is all the animals, they respond to the external stimuli. Like if we will keep our fingers in the hot water, automatically our fingers will be withdrawn. How? Because response occurs. And plants also respond to external stimuli like light, temperature, etc. So we respond to our surroundings or environmental responses. Like sunflower. If we will take an example of sunflower, sunflower moves where there will be the sunlight. It moves towards light. That's why its name is sunlight. Due to photoperiodism it occurs. And human being is only the organism who is self-aware, that we can say self-consciousness. Human being is the only organism who has self-consciousness. Okay. So response to stimuli, it also can be the defining property of the living beings. So these four characteristics that will define that the organisms is living or non-living things. And we know that biology is the story of life on earth, and biology is the story of evolution of all the organisms on earth. Somehow all are connected by common sharing genetic material, and also it varying from also degrees. Okay, this much today. In the next part we will study about what? Taxonomy categories and also binomial nomenclature. Thank you, students.